So it's a beautiful winter's day here in New Zealand, and I've decided I'm going to test how much therapeutic red light there is in our sun. I've got my spectrometer here, just turned it on, and yeah, it's just past midday. So what I'm going to do is measure how much red light and near infrared light is being emitted from the sun. Now be sure to hang around until the end of the video because I actually did this same reading in summertime. So I'm going to compare not only the winter results with summer results, but I'm also going to compare it with one of the best red light therapy panels on the market. So you're going to find out whether you really need to buy one of these panels or if you can just go outside. Now, before we pull up the numbers, I just need to point out it is currently the 5th of July, 2024. So we're about a week or two past the low point in terms of winter here in New Zealand. Remember, Southern Hemisphere, we get our winters June, July, August. So the sun is quite low in the sky. It's not obviously the same intensity as it is in summertime, December the 22nd. Now, there was quite a big frost here, but still, it's going to give a pretty good representation of what's going on with the sun intensity in wintertime. Also, I'm doing the readings a bit past midday, so again, it's not perfect, but it's going to give a pretty good idea. Fortunately, it is a very clear day, so that is a win. All right, let me set up the test, crunch the numbers, and I'll report back soon. Okay, so I've got all the numbers on screen now. What I've done is I've hidden all the power intensities, the wavelengths, outside the red and the near infrared range. So I've only left 620 nanometers through to 680 nanometers, that's in the red range, and then I have left 800 through to 870 nanometers. I figured, we're not too worried about the blues and the greens, just the core photobiomodulation red and near infrared ranges. First up though, the total power intensity was 79 milliwatts over centimeter squared. Now when you hear this number, it's actually very similar to what we'd see in a red light therapy panel at say 6 inches, but a red light therapy panel is only putting out red and near infrared light, or maybe some blue or amber, depending on what panel you get. Of course, the sun is putting out everything, blues, greens, and into the near infrared range. Now, my device, my spectrometer, is only measuring from 380 nanometers through to 1050. So it's not actually measuring far infrared or the UV spectrum. So the 79 figure shows visible and some near infrared light, but of course you cannot compare it to say a Biomax panel. This is where we need to do a better breakdown. Now, what's interesting is the peak wavelength, the most intense wavelength that the device measured was in the blue range, 481. 16% of energy was going to red and 4% was going to blue. So when we look down here, we're seeing an intensity of milliwatts over meter squared for that particular wavelength, for that nanometer. So typically I don't report numbers like this. We'll look at the total intensity. So what I've done is I have totaled everything up. So here we go. So in winter in New Zealand, we're getting, at midday, we're getting about 8 milliwatts of therapeutic red light between 620 and 680. This is in milliwatts over centimeter squared, all right, which is the figure we typically use. So it's quite low, all right. We're going to bring in these other numbers from summer and other panels very soon, so hang around for that. When we go down to the near infrared, 800 through to 870, we get a total of 7 milliwatts. So again, it's on the lower intensity side of things. Let's compare this to summertime. Now, I did this reading in summer. It was a bit late and there was actually a little bit of cloud around at the time. It was a little bit frustrating. I waited days and days and days to get a clear sky, but it's the joy of living in New Zealand. Now, first up, we can see the total intensity was 118, so there's more energy in a summer sun. That's not so surprising. The peak wavelength was pretty much the same, 480. The ratios were actually pretty much identical as well. So let's look at the energy output. When we go down to the red sum, you see that there's only a slight increase. The 8 in winter, 11 in summer. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of surprising. Remember that total intensity was up quite a lot. Well, maybe percentage-wise, it's similar amount. Let's go down to near infrared, 7 in winter, 10 in summer. So yeah, it's not a huge increase. Yeah, the big changes between winter and summer are probably more in the UV range, which is, yeah, I've got some thoughts on that, which I'll share later in the video. Now, let's see how these numbers compare to a red light therapy panel. Now, the panel I tested was the Block Blue Light Mega 4.0. This placed second in my 2024 comparison series. If you haven't seen that, if you're looking for the best red light therapy panel on the market, check out that comparison video. It's really, really good. I looked at 17 different panels. By the way, if you enjoy this video, if you found value in it, can you just hit the like button? I really do appreciate it. And be sure to subscribe because, yeah, I'm doing lots of cool reviews and experiments and what else do I do? Interviews, all sorts of neat things. So be sure to subscribe for that. Also head over to our Facebook group. There's nearly 10,000 people in there, and head over to Light Therapy Insiders. Jump on the mailing list. Check out the shopping tool. All the links are down below. So let's pull up the Block Blue Light Mega 4.0. First up, we have total power output. So, but this is between 380 and 1050, 79 in winter sun, 118 milliwatts in summer sun, 84 for the Block Blue Light. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's less than the sun. Yeah, but remember, the Block Blue Light panel is a very targeted device. It's only putting out the red and the near-infrared wavelengths. So let's go down here. Peak wavelengths, sun, we're seeing 480 blues. Block Blue Light Mega, we're seeing red light as the peak. Red light ratio, 16, 16, 95. Blue light, 4% in the sun, 0.1 in the Block Blue Light Mega. Now you may be wondering why that's 95. I don't know exactly what wavelengths it's measuring or considers for red light percent ratio. Maybe it doesn't go all the way out to near infrared. I'm not too sure. Okay, so now let's look at the totals. First up, let's have a quick look at 660. This is just one particular wavelength. So yeah, we have 1,300 milliwatts over meter squared for winter, 1,800 meters squared for summer, 8,500. So there's a lot more. Pure red 660. When we look at the total, here we go. 8 for winter, 11 for summer, 30 milliwatts over centimeter squared for the Block Blue Light Mega. So it's what, more than three times the amount in a Block Blue Light panel at 6 inches compared to what you'd get in winter midday clear sky sun. All right, so let's do the same for the near infrared. So let's have a look at, say, 810. It's about 7 times more powerful in the Block Blue Light Mega. Let's look at the total now. 7 for winter, 10 for summer, 39 for the Block Blue Light Mega. So what I've done at the bottom here is I've done some totals. So the total therapeutic red near infrared light that you're getting on a clear day in winter in New Zealand is 15 milliwatts over centimeter squared. For summer, same location, 21, which is a 40% increase. Now you compare that to the Block Blue Light Mega, 69 milliwatts over centimeter squared. I think that panel actually tested more around 80 milliwatts at 6 inches, but remember, I've only narrowed it down from 620 to 680, 800 to 870. So of course, there's still a bit of light coming in between 680 and 800, and even maybe beyond 870 for this panel. So yeah, it's quite a lot more light. I mean, a 360% increase compared to the sun out there. However, I do have some interesting comments here. So first up, I have to admit, I am rather surprised with the amount of energy in the sun on a clear day. 15 milliwatts, it's actually more than you see in a lot of these beauty products, masks, the handheld devices. It makes you think, what's going on here? Should we really be paying all this money for some of these beauty devices? Of course, if you want the high intensity dose, then yeah, the panels are a lot more powerful. If you're watching this thinking, well, stuff this, I'm going to save my $1,000 and just hang out in the sun. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. The thing is, though, a red light therapy device, whether it is a mask or a little wand or a panel, it's only putting out light energy in that therapeutic dose. Now, you may be able to get, a third of that intensity from the sun, but you're also getting a bunch of other wavelengths. Yes, there is a lot of benefit to some of these wavelengths, blues, greens, ambers, etc. But you're also going to get a lot of exposure to potentially harmful wavelengths, especially at the intensities that the sun is putting out, i.e. UVA. Because let's say you're out in the sun getting your, 15 milliwatts over centimeter squared, and you've done some dosing calculations and you want to get, your 40 joules for whatever benefit you're after. You may have to sit outside for quite some time. just to get enough of that red and near infrared. However, you're also going to be exposed to a lot of these other wavelengths, the UVAs, UVB, if you don't want to overdo that for whatever reason. So it's a trade-off, right? Now, the follow-up thought on that, though, is I'm surprised how much red and near infrared light we're still getting at wintertime. So one could argue that from a therapeutic point of view, you're actually better off sunbathing in wintertime in the midday sun, if the sun is out, to get your red light, to get your red and near infrared light, because there's very little UVA, right? You see, because in wintertime, you're actually getting a lot less UVA light at the surface of the earth compared to summertime. I think there's about 4 or 5 times more UVA light reaching the surf in summer compared to winter. So yeah, one could argue if you're trying to hack the system and you don't want to buy a red light therapy device, go outside for as long as you can in wintertime. You're still going to get plenty of therapeutic red light. I mean, when I say plenty, it's enough for like the beauty benefits, skin level, and full body systemic benefits. But let's say you've got, I don't know, you've just recovered from knee surgery, you probably still want more of a high-powered laser or a targeted device like a Chroma Ironforge or a Kineon Move Plus Pro or a Flex Beam, something like that that's going to really concentrate that light in the spot. But if you're just talking overall health, you know, a bit of red light on your skin and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, there is the argument that getting out at winter, when there's very little UVA, you know, it could be a perfectly fine, very low cost, minimal cost solution. Of course, wintertime's typically cold. How often do you get clear days? And of course, we all work, right? So that's where these products come in handy. Because if you can't get outside, you don't have the time, or the weather's just horrible, it's raining, it's snowing, it's gray, cloudy day, then yeah, sometimes it's easier. I don't have any devices like that, to just pick up a device, shine it on the problematic area, and away you go. You don't have to worry about your UVAs or the harmful side of things. Now, come to summertime, you're getting a slight increase. What was a 40% increase in therapeutic red light from the sun, but you're also getting a massive, like 4 or 5 times increase in UVA, which is not going to be great if you're doing this for skin beauty benefits, or of course you're trying to, you know, improve your longevity. So let me just break it down. If you're looking at one of the best red light therapy panels on the market at about 6 inches, you're getting anything from say 60 to 90 milliwatts of therapeutic red light. Now, on a clear day, midday in New Zealand, in the middle of winter, you're only getting about 15 milliwatts of therapeutic red light. Same spot in summertime, about 21 milliwatts. So it's still, you know, a third to a quarter of what you're getting from a panel. Of course, though, a panel is just putting out the red and the near infrared. The sun is putting out a wide range of light, some which are going to be beneficial, you know, your blues, your greens, your ambers. However, there's also the wavelengths that aren't so beneficial, especially after extended periods. But if you're a total poor man and don't want to spend any money on this technology, then what I'd suggest you do is you get out as much as possible in wintertime when the UVA is low, the sun is out, you're getting a reasonable amount of red and near infrared without the downsides. But if you have a problematic area, a sore elbow, brain disorder, then a more targeted device like a high-powered torch or a V-light like this is going to be a lot more beneficial. And of course, if you simply can't get outside, then these devices are great as well. So yeah, fascinating, huh? Keen to hear your thoughts and feedback. Discuss them all below. Otherwise, jump up here. There's a really good video that's going to show up next.